Name me George, VP for IT and Information Security Officer at Pacific Dental Services. Pacific Dental Services is a national DSO, a dental support organization. We provide business support to about 1,000 dental offices in 25 states. So we do everything from IT, business services, marketing, everything that you require to run a business, a dental business. And the dentist comes in and they do dentistry, and we essentially do the rest for them. So before Oomnitza, we really didn't have clear visibility into our assets. We were not able to correlate all the data about our assets into one place. And so depending on what tool you're looking at, you got a totally different view, a totally different result. Our results depended on whether the computers were online, whether they were on the network, off network, and so on.
When I came into Pacific Dental Services, the environment was made up of multiple tools, no way to understand whether the assets were still there or not, no way for the techs to easily update the tool, no way for accounting to easily reconcile against our fixed assets module. There's just kind of a lack of governance around asset management in general.
Yeah, the key driver for change for us was just on the asset management side, just not knowing what we had. You know, we often say in security, you can't secure what you can't measure or what you can't see. And not knowing what assets we had, everything from what applications we had running on them, what operating systems they were on, whether we had end-of-life operating systems. We needed to get that number. We needed to make sure that we had a good handle on that. And that's the primary driver for getting a tool like Oomnitza in. The standout capability or feature, or in this case, a lack of, was not having another agent sitting on our endpoint. Right? We have a bunch of tools, and in security especially, we have so many agents that we just bog down our endpoints with. And the problem with agents is you've got to push them out, you've got to keep them updated and all of those things. And so we wanted to take a different approach. Now, Oomnitza's approach of being agentless and using data from all the other agents that we have meant that we're able to essentially have a catch-all buckets, right? So you can have an endpoint that has Tanium, another one with SCCM, another one with Jamf, and it really doesn't matter. We're able to correlate all of this information into one tool and then run the data through and get the results and on the reports that we need.
Benefit of Oomnitza is the fact that it is low code, no code. The ability for an analyst to come in and help me run the platform, for us to set up the platform, customize it to how we like it, to match our environment. Many of the other platforms are code heavy. I would have to hire engineer level resources to be able to build it out. We went from having this single point in time when an asset management database was updated to actually being able to populate the database with feeds from agents throughout our environment so we could discover additional assets that we had no eyes on. We definitely ended up discovering about 30% more assets that we did not know were in our environment.
Not knowing what you're managing is a big deal, right? A lot of people gloss over it, but let's start with just end-of-life support. You get told on this date, Microsoft is going to stop releasing updates for this particular version of Windows 10. You've got to address that. You've got to have your low-hanging fruit. You've got to get your list of Windows 10 devices across your environment. You've got to make sure that you've either updated them or you remove them from the environment. We're able to do that. Another distinct advantage we get from Oomnitza is because it's agentless and because it takes its feed from all the other agents that we have running within the environment, we're able to use it as essentially a control assessment to see if the other tools that we have running are actually running. So we deploy Tanium or SCCM across the estate. I'm able to see, hey, I have 20,000 laptops. All 20,000 laptops should be running Tanium or SCCM. If I see a delta, if I see a drift between the agents installed in SCCM versus the Tanium agents installed, then I know I have a problem. So Oomnitza also serves as that gatekeeper to make sure that the suite of security agents that we want deployed across our fleet are actually deployed and running. It does stitch together all of the different security tools that I have running, at least on the endpoints.
Previously, we were purchasing assets in bulk and not really knowing where they ended up and not understanding how they transfer throughout the environment, right? Previously, we had no ability to monitor where these assets were, not just from a security perspective, but also from an accounting perspective. Prior to Oomnitza, we had no ability to understand what devices needed to be swapped out of our environment. With Oomnitza, with the data that we get from warranty end date, data we get from purchase date, the data we get from the hardware specifications, we're able to understand the timing of when we need to replace those assets. And we're able to also relate that to our accounting fixed assets and understand what the depreciation cycle is for those devices to understand the overall financial impact and maintain a quality and optimized refresh cycle for the environment.
Forecasting in the past without a tool like Oomnitza has been a big estimation game, right? There's a best guess efforts to see what numbers we should put in. Now we're able to accurately predict what we need to refresh next year and plan even 5 years down the line. We're able to do that.
We're able to focus on the life cycle, the end-to-end life cycle, from procurement through destruction now. Oomnitza is assisting us with tracking 60,000 assets across over 1,000 locations. We have over 175 workflows built out in Oomnitza. PDS goes by the motto of patients pay our salaries. So with that, we enable our entire environment to be optimized when it comes to an efficiency perspective. We want to make sure that they're focusing on the work that they need to perform instead of us delaying them or creating issues for them. With the integration we have with our ITSM and Oomnitza, our service desk technicians are able to relate service requests to the actual assets themselves, tag the asset in the ticket, and it allows us to improve employee experience when it comes to the knowledge that the tech has, understanding the hardware specifications of that end user's device and how it differs maybe from other standard devices and types of users we have throughout our environment. Oomnitza helps allow the technicians to reduce the amount of questions and back and forth between end users and the technicians and become more efficient from a service delivery perspective.
So starting in 2024, as part of our journey into offering medical services, we're going to be taking a much more strict look at compliance. So compliance to health IT, compliance to HIPAA, and we're also going through ISO 27001. And at the heart of all of these three frameworks is understanding your assets. Not just from a hardware standpoint, but what's running on them, the operating systems that you have running on these assets, whether they're end of life, in service, end of support, all of those things. Using a tool like Oomnitza, we're going to be able to provide real-time assets updates on what we have installed, all of that, which will be a core part of our compliance and certification efforts.